Hey there, it's Tammy with It's All About the Dogs.
And Noelle with Positive Directions Canine Academy. And we've got Zella and Gemma here today. And you might even see Player running around in the background.
We're gonna, we talked about this a couple of days ago, how dogs play. Before we get started, we want you to subscribe to our channel though.
Yes, please. Like, subscribe, share, do, click, just while you're at it, click all the buttons.
There you go, just
Except for this one. Yeah.
Well, and if you have questions about anything we talk about, please put that in the comments section so we can get back to you and answer anything that you might have a question about.
Absolutely.
So the other day I was noticing how differently, so Zella is an Irish red and white setter, so she's a bird dog.
Mm-hmm. And then I have Pembroke Welsh corgis, which are herding dogs. And we got them together the other day, and my dogs were trying to play with Zella, and Zella was really confused about how the game was played. She didn't understand the rules.
So different dogs play differently is what and we got to talking about that because Noelle was like, oh, they're playing bird dog like games now. She's into it.
Yep.
But not so much when they're playing herding dog games.
Exactly.
Totally different breeds.
Exactly. So, dogs make different sounds, and so think of the brachiocephalic breeds. Those are like the French Bulldogs, Bostons, Bulldogs, short-nosed breeds. They don't make sounds like the other dog kingdom makes sounds because they have a shortened nasal passage. So their little sounds when they're playing can actually sound like growls or grunts. I had a puppy in my puppy playtime class the other day, French Bulldog, was trying to play, and the owners were concerned that he was being too aggressive
because he was making those
snorting
noises.
Grunting and snorting noises, and the dog was having a great time and just playing, but to them it sounded like he was being aggressive.
It was weird, yeah. Well, and say why this is important. This is important. We should know that different breeds play differently
because they communicate in ways that are different from other breeds. For example, bird dogs communicate with each other differently. They are more apt to want to play running and playing games, but not chasing games. They don't like to chase each other, but they like to run around and bark and look into the air, and that's to them that is like the funnest thing in the whole wide world.
Mine they do play doggy wrestling, and they kind of run around each other,
but it's not prolonged chasing.
Not usually.
Yeah.
They and she's very soft. Well, I have 3 of them. I have 2 English too. They're very soft. And they are not kind of as rowdy, I don't think,
they're
as
not.
the herding breeds.
They're not.
I mean, they can be rowdy, because I know a bunch of my bird dog friends are going to watch this and go,
Well, here's the difference,
in a different way.
Herding breeds are bold. They have to be
be
bold because they are moving animals that weigh more than them. And so they have to be cocky, they have to be bold, and they have to be persistent. With bird dogs, they don't have to be cocky, bold. They do need to be persistent if they're going to go after what they're looking for. But that miscommunication is almost like 2 different countries trying to communicate with each other. You don't speak the same language. Your customs are different. It may be unusual for one dog breed to exhibit a certain modus operandi when they're playing, as opposed to another group of dogs.
Well, and we did an earlier video about dog parks and the pros and cons, and this would be one of the cons, is because you don't know what kind of dog what kind of breed your dog might be out there with.
Exactly.
And mixed breeds might have a whole plethora of different language that they could be putting forth.
Right, exactly. So herding dogs absolutely love to run around. This is Player. They love to run around and they love to chase. And once one's been the chaser for a while, then that dog wants to be chased. And so then they change, and it's almost like watching a flock of birds, how they change direction.
It is. That's good. That's a good analogy. Do you remember the time? There was this one time we went to a park with one of our friends who had a poodle, a standard poodle, and her corgis took off after that thing, herding it like it was a sheep, and the poor dog was like, "Oh my god!
Oh my god! What do I do?"
It's like, we're gonna herd this one.
Yep.
And I have a border collie, and she tends to do that to the other 3 as well. They'll be just kind of cruising, and all of a sudden she's trying to herd them. Round them up. And they're like, hey.
Yep. And working dogs, they are dogs that don't like to be stared at. So,
Really, I didn't know that.
yeah, they are not particularly fond
So,
of
and
that.
what breeds would fall into that?
So that would be like Akitas, Rottweilers, Doberman Pinschers, those types of dogs. They don't like to be stared at, and they particularly don't like direct and prolonged eye contact. So your bird dog may go in and make eye contact with a working dog, and that working dog is going to be like, I don't like that, and they're going to instantaneously discipline that dog for staring at them, and your dog's not going to know why they got in trouble. And you may be looking at that dog thinking, wow, that was completely unprovoked, when in reality, it was totally provoked. The dog just didn't understand what they were saying. Wow. So that's where those traditions and those things that go along with those breeds can be very important to know.
Well, and so the whole point in this video is you need to be aware of your dog.
Absolutely.
And what their breed is. Even if they're a mixed breed, you probably need to research the breeds.
Mm-hmm.
There's some mixed breeds that, you know.
There are some mixed breeds out there that come out like Hannibal Lecter, and then there's mixed breeds that come out and they're
super sweet.
Super sweet. So
yeah.
You just don't know what you're going to get. But dogs that were bred to bite or use their teeth in the performance of their jobs are going to use teeth and play. And so it's really important that you know that ahead of time.
Like the herding dogs. Because the one thing the other day when Zella came out here, they were all kind of getting in her face and wanting her to, and they're bitey. And she does like to play bitey face with her sister, but it's a totally different ball game.
Right, so corgi bitey play is, and setter bitey play is,
yeah, pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, that's pretty much how it is. And so she was all like, oh my God.
This is crazy. I don't know how to do this. Yeah. So, you know, it's just another example of, before you go into a dog park, look and see what's in there. If you see terriers and you see working breeds and you see bird dogs and you see herding dogs and that kind of thing, it's probably not a good combination of dogs out there.
It could be a recipe for a fight.
It could really be. You know, if there's a bunch of golden retrievers out there playing, then it might be a great day at the dog park.
Right.
You know, I think dog parks were actually meant for dogs with those types of personalities.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we get people out there who want to get their dogs socialized by taking them to a dog park, and that is actually one of the worst places that you can go to socialize a dog.
Right, you need to have that before you go there.
Yes, exactly. If your dog doesn't know how to play and communicate with other breeds, then it's probably not a good fit for you and your dog. Yep.
And we have this going on right now.
Yes, we do. She's getting sniffed and she's not entirely happy about it. You can't see it, it's off camera. So that's really all I wanted to say about breeds, unless you've got any other questions.
No, it was just interesting that you brought that up, and I had never really thought about it. And I bet most people do not think about it.
No.
And a lot of households will have multiple dogs of different breeds. And like I have 3 setters, but then I have a border collie. And that makes for a whole different set of dynamics. And when you mentioned this is a different kind of play, that it was like, oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's something that you really need to be aware of.
You do. And, you know, there are certain breeds out there that can be aggressive towards the same sex. So if you've got, for example, Akitas are a wonderful breed. I think they're beautiful. They are just regal. When you look at an Akita, it's hard to look away.
They're not for the faint of heart.
But they're not for the faint of heart. And they're one of those breeds out there that can be a little iffy with same sex. So if you have a bunch of females playing together, chances are there's going to be more likely to be a fight than there would be if there's a male and a female playing together. Right. So that's another thing to consider.
I'm fortunate because most of the time the bird dogs get along with, no matter what, with each other.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
So we're going to put some links down below. Please check out both of our sites. Go to Noelle's YouTube page. Well, we're both on. This will be on both of our pages.
Yep. So there's Positive Directions Canine Academy page, and
it's all about the dogs.
Yes.
Subscribe and like, and please share this if you found it useful. We'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Talk to you later.